Dynamax Adventures is a co-op game mode for Pokemon Sword and Shield's Crown Tundra DLC. With better shiny odds and one of the few places in the modern games without a shiny lock on legendaries, it seems like the perfect place to go shiny hunting for legendaries. Right? Well, with incredibly long reset timers and a reliance on total strangers, it can feel RNG dependent if you can cross the finish line with all 4 Pokemon caught. But shiny hunters are a different breed. They see long reset timers as a challenge, and their reliance on other people is just another layer of chance. Shiny hunters love arbitrary challenges, and stacking on more odds is just another level of joy that they feel when they finally see that coveted shiny.
Shiny Lunatone! No! Are you freaking serious?
With events dedicated to stacking on more and more odds like Safari
Hey
Week,
everyone, it's me, Cal.
it was only a matter of time before someone created an event around the hunt. Q Blue Vactor, a shiny hunter in the community who created the all-new Dynamax Adventures Weekend, or DA Weekend for short. During the 3-day event, from Friday to Sunday, hunters would hit the max lair in hopes that finding that next shiny to add to their collection. I decided to participate, and let's just say, it was quite a showing. Yeah, I didn't play on Friday since I had work. Whoops. Day 2 of the weekend started off with me streaming my attempts at getting a shiny. In my first game, I got a full team of 4 and we swiftly ran through the lair. After a 15-minute prologue, we finally got to do our first shiny check of the weekend, and nothing. After another 15-minute reset, I understood that this was going to take time. I was already starting a day later than the others, and I needed to walk away with at least 1 shiny under my belt. If I wanted to maximize my odds for the weekend, I needed to play efficiently. But there was one major obstacle I couldn't avoid. My teammates. You see, I was being completely serious earlier when I said that getting competent teammates felt like RNG. And with shiny hunters having an unparalleled ability to zone out and only pay half attention to things, it wasn't looking good. With the newfound knowledge that I was fighting against my teammates just as much as I was fighting the AI, I pressed onward, still shinyless. I kept going, optimistic in my chances of getting a shiny Pokemon anytime soon. That is, until he showed up. No, not him. Him. Zygarde is the worst thing to encounter on this type of challenge. Zygarde was easily the hardest legendary to fight, and without being able to communicate with teammates, it feels like trying to do a silent raid in Destiny 2. When you run into Zygarde, it makes things worse off from a shiny hunting angle too, since it turns your typical 4 checks into just 3, but for the same amount of time. So imagine my shock and horror when the next adventure had me facing off against the Zygarde. And then a third one. Yeah, that one hurt. Worried that streaming an early copy of Pokemon Legends ZA would get me banned on Twitch, I ended stream and decided to do some offline hunts for the rest of the evening. Not much else happened on day 2, except I did find out how funny a Lightning Rod Raichu could be. After a bit of mutually assured juicing, day 2 came to a close. Day 3 had started off much worse than day 2, as I had work in the morning and wasn't able to get hunting until the evening. And to make matters worse, my encounters had started taking longer to start and became harder to find full teams of 4. With my average resets per hour going from 4 to 3, things were slowing down, and I was starting to worry that I may never see a sparkly cave dweller. But then, he showed up. Like a message from the heavens sent to show me my efforts would not be in vain. Not a shiny, no, something far, far better. Gordon. This here is Gordon, the Groudon. Gordon may not have been shiny this time, but I could tell that he wanted to be. He represented a level of predictability for me, you see. I was not hunting anything in particular, just ready to accept whatever gift the gods would bestow upon me. But now, that would change. Sure, I'd occasionally go for a different Pokemon, but Groudon became my most consistent target. The one thing I could come back to make sure I got something good. With this newfound inspiration, I decided to press the stream button. With the target now in my sights, I saw the end of this challenge. Keep pushing. And I did. As the hours dragged on, one thing kept me anxious. The time. You see, it had gotten late. Too late. It was almost midnight and the weekend was almost over. And the work earlier in the day was taking its toll on me. I was rapidly losing energy. Realizing I needed to focus up and put the pedal to the metal, I stopped stream and started up a local recording around 11. I only had a few more opportunities to make the deadline. Racing to Groudon and back again, trying my hardest to maximize my efficiency and get that shiny. Until disaster struck. On my final run, in my tired state, I made a major mistake. I didn't click on Groudon for my target. I was now in a pool for any of the sword legendaries, most of which were not faster to complete than Groudon. But my team managed to lock in, and we cleared through the Lunala with enough time to spare. Sure, I may run the clock over a little bit, but the run would have started during the weekend. It was going to be tough, but I wasn't resting until I got my shiny for this event. And you know what? Just to add a bit more tension, I decided to go for a random legendary. If I was truly relying on the blessings of the gods to get a shiny, then I was going to put fate completely in their hands. And so, I let it ride. In overtime, would I be able to get my shiny and make my ancestors proud? The legendary was a water type, almost assuredly a Suicune since I still had access to it. So I made the necessary preparations. We went along the best path we could find. First up, a Marowak. It would be a struggle for me, but with Politoed and a Dynamax Golduck, we make short work of it. Good. To follow that up, we crossed paths with a Gigantamax Hatterene, but we were the only ones to walk away from that fight. Next was Vaporeon. It was just mere target practice for the big dog that would follow. And then, as we closed in on Suicune, something was wrong. It seemed to be an odd shape and color. Wait, that's no Suicune. It was actually a Palkia, and suddenly, my decision to keep Magneton the whole run in anticipation for a raw water type was not the Giga Chad big brain strat that I thought it was. This battle was a slobber knocker. We traded blows with the Palkia, whittling away at its massive health pool while trying our hardest to hold on long enough to see it through. We were sustaining heavy losses, and it was unclear who would yield first. We were all close to death, but then my Magneton let loose one final Electro Ball, sealing Palkia's fate, and earning us the coveted Victory Royale. Now, it was the moment of truth. Would this be it? In overtime of my first weekend, would I be taking home one of these Pokemon and complete my goal at getting at least one shiny this event? Well, no. It would seem that I had fallen short. And while I had every intention of going until I got a shiny, I was already falling asleep at my desk during this. So I decided to hang up my jersey. While I didn't manage to walk away with a new shiny, I am glad that I participated. I know that others have more optimized setups that mitigate the need for teammates just by using multiple switches, but I don't have 4 switches, so I still had to live with the need for teammates. I also don't have the shiny charm in Sword or Shield, so I was rocking the full odds of 1 in 300 instead of 1 in 100. But at the end of the day, across about 7 hours of hunting for the weekend, how many Pokemon did I encounter? 94. 94 whole opportunities for a shiny, but no sparkles. Given that only 22% of the time you would achieve a shiny without the shiny charm in 94 encounters, the odds were against us from the start, but that's just part of shiny hunting. Sometimes you achieve glory, getting a shiny incredibly fast, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes the drought lasts months, perhaps even years. There is a great video by 8F titled The Math Behind the Unluckiest Shiny Hunts of All Time, which I highly recommend watching. For me, it's a motivation to hunt for shinies I want even more, whether it be to defy the odds or just to see how mathematically screwed I can get. With all that being said, thank you for watching. This was originally going to be the May video, but the April one still needs some tweaks and revisions, so I tried my hardest to get this one out fast. I wanted to do a bit more writing of a narrative and incorporating more jokes into the script. We'll see how that works out. Next time I do participate in the weekend, though, I promise you I will make Gordon a free man.